I hadn't started. And I was working on city to full council.
We were waiting on you, man.
They're all here. They heard you were dressing up.
Yeah. Single seat will be filled. It's a good feeling.
Okay, this is the City of Hannibal official council agenda. It's Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. We're in the council chambers, 7 p.m. Ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Welch?
Here.
Councilman Munger?
Here.
Councilman McCoy?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Here.
Councilman Franke?
Present.
And Councilman Phillips?
Here.
Okay, there being a quorum present, I call the meeting to order. I'd ask Councilman Munger to give the invocation, please.
Lord, we come before you on this week of Thanksgiving, and Lord, we come with thanksgiving. We thank you for what you're doing in this town and in this community, and we ask your guidance, your wisdom on all the matters at hand. We thank you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Councilman McCoy, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the list is a approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I would request the opportunity to be added to the agenda. I apologize about the time. Hoping that you could add under my name Park Board for a quick discussion tonight.
Is that a motion?
I'll make my motion, I guess.
I have a second. Second. All those in favor of adding a Park Board discussion to the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, the regularly scheduled council meeting on November 2nd need approval to claim or to approve the minutes.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is approval of payroll and claims for the first half of November 2023. Need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on payroll and claims? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Now come to bill number 23-031. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
So move.
I'll make the second.
Any discussion on bill 23-031? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Bill number 23-031, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal vacating a tract of land known as Choteau Street, which is part of Buchanan's Addition, City of Hannibal, Marion County, Missouri. Second and final reading. Councilman Welch?
Yes.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilman Franke?
Yes.
And Councilman Phillips?
Yes.
Don't have the. So what? No, I don't. No, I know, but I hereby declare bill number 23-031 duly approved and adopted on this day. That's what I didn't have. Okay. Next is bill number 23-033. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Bill number 23-033, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal providing for a municipal election to be held Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, for the purpose of electing council members of the 1st, 3rd, and 6th wards. Second and final reading. Councilman Welch?
Yes.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilman Franke?
Yes.
And Councilman Phillips?
Yes.
Okay, so I hereby declare number bill 23-033 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next is Melissa Coggle, City Clerk, certification of election, November 2023.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council. I, Melissa Cogdill, City Clerk for the Hannibal, Missouri, do hereby certify that the following, a complete and true copy of the certification of elections that was held on November 7, 2023, as certified to me by Marion and Ross County Clerks. For Mayor, Barry E. Lauderman, 1,487 votes. Christy K. Trevathan, 1,247 votes, and Steve Collier, 25 votes, declaring Barry E. Lauderman the winner of the mayor seat. Proposition R, shall the City of Hannibal enact an ordinance which mandates a management report be completed in writing monthly, including reports from the city manager, city clerk, and the city department heads. Marion County, 2,409 yes votes, 296 no votes. Rawls County, 19 yes votes and 2 no votes. Total votes for yes, 2,428, no, 298, showing a total votes of 2,726 for Proposition R. The City of Hannibal, 2,428 yes, 298 no, declares Proposition R having passed by 298 votes.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the election results.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. So I declare the election results as certified by the clerk on this date. Now, next on the agenda is for adjournment. Sine die. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So we are adjourned, and I just wanted to say something. I've been up here for 6 months, and appreciate everybody's cooperation, the department heads, police chief, fire chief, Andy Dorian, Mike McCarg. We've had some new people come on board. There's exciting things going forward. We've got a new tourism director. We've got a new economic development director. New city clerk was added, in the last 6 months. Candy stepped up in her office. Website's about done and ready to come online. Thank Lisa for all of her efforts, in the past 6 months. So, I'm thankful for everybody that helped in the interim, until the election. And, Barry, you're in good hands, going forward, and, look forward to your tenure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Repeat after me and we state your name. I
Barry Lauderman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the state of Missouri,
the state of Missouri,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Hannibal,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Hannibal.
and I will faithfully discharge my duties of office
I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office,
that in the appointment, promotion, and discharge of officers and employees,
that in the appointment, promotion, or discharge of officers or employees,
I will be influenced only by the consideration of fitness,
I will be influenced only by the consideration of fitness,
and that in such matters,
and that in such matters
I will act with impartiality and justice.
I will act with impartiality. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everybody that showed up tonight, my kids, my girlfriend Debbie, my supporters, and Cole. I want to say thank you to Mike. He did a great job for the last 6 months, keeping things going. One short and then two short for a short time. We're now a whole council, all 7 members, all 7 seats. And starting tonight, we will move the city forward. Our agenda is to do what it takes to make the city better. So that being said, we'll get started. Call roll.
Councilman Welch,
Here.
Councilman Munger,
Here.
Councilman McCoy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Here?
Councilman Franke,
Present.
Mayor Lauderman,
Present.
and Councilman Phillips.
Here.
There being a quorum, I call the meeting to order. First order of business, Katie Welch, but I believe we have somebody standing in for Katie, correct? Historic Hannibal Marketing Council, request street closures, Christmas living windows, Saturday, December 9th, 2023, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes, we're just requesting the street closure for living windows.
Anybody have any questions?
Just one thing, I'd work with Friendship Brewery, and I don't think it'd be a problem for this street closure, but they've asked that we move back that half block so that it leaves their parking lot open.
Okay.
It is their parking lot, not a
Right.
city parking lot, so
Okay.
I've told them we'll make every effort to do that. So I don't think it's a problem for you all, but going forward, on the events, we need to
Okay.
remember that.
Okay, perfect.
Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Insurance. Not received insurance, so we are paying insurance.
So we amend that motion to approve pending insurance.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Get your insurance into the city
Okay.
clerk as soon as you can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
Next is Kevin Cruz, Loafers Car Club. Request street closures, Loafers 28th Annual Car Show, Saturday, May 11th, 2024, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yes, that is correct.
What can we do?
Approve this, please.
Everything's on file.
Everything's
We're
good?
ready.
All
Yes, everything.
Everything's on file. Anybody have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Need a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members.
Thank you.
Kevin, just same thing, you're going to be on Main Street? Or you're going to be on Main Street? With that? Just the same thing, if you would set up, back of the entrance to lock for Friendship? Yes.
Take care of that.
Thank you.
Do we have are those posts, are those all the way to the corner, right?
They are, but there's one that's set back, and most of the events choose not to use the bollards. They've been using the barricades that are easier moved.
And Mayor Pro Tem, we have changed that on the packet,
Okay.
so, and have made a note on it. So everybody that gets the special events packet will be made aware
Okay.
of that. So
I'm
we-
seeing that now, and I couldn't scroll down fast enough, and
That's
you've
okay.
actually removed that from the
We
map.
did. We did. We-
Okay,
so
very good.
We have got that corrected, so it shouldn't confuse anybody in the future.
Thank you.
Larry Craig is up next. However, he's asked to be moved back to speak at the same time Darren does for the stormwater funding ballot. Does anybody have a problem with that? All right, next up, Councilman Franke, public comment period.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and make that presentation. But first, I'd like to say that anytime that the council does anything that involves the general public or the citizens and offers them unfettered access to the council, I think, is good and proper. It's been 10 months, and I think that if any change was necessary or any change was wanted, it would have come up before now. Therefore, we ask that the city council agree to move the public comment section from the 6:30 time slot to the actual 7 o'clock city council meeting that requires a quorum and is video recorded for the public to view. In our opinion, it would be best to put the public comment period after the standard speaking portion, where folks come and ask for things like street closures, et cetera, before the city staff come to present items. That way, members of the public who attend the meeting specifically for street closure types of business are not held at the meetings for longer than is necessary. Changing the structure of the public comment period would require a simple majority vote to alter the rules the council adopted in January 17th of 2023. And updating the rules in our suggested way would bring us more closely in line with that of, say, HBPW and the school board, and streamline this process in which the public can seek transparency and accountability from us, the council. After all, we are here to serve them. In closing, to reiterate, we ask that the city council alter the rules we passed in January 17th of 2023 to shift the public comment period from 6:30 into the actual 7 o'clock meeting as the ordinance passed on December of 2022 called for in the first place. Thank you very much.
Anybody have any questions, discussion on this?
Just, I think if you want to model after the Board of Public Works and the school boards, those public comment periods are up front first in the on the agenda, and some different entities, limit those to 3 minutes, strict 3 minute, time limit. So I would, ask that something like that be entertained.
I'm open to that. Personally, I don't mind the structure right now, but if we wanted to do 3 with the option to extend to another 3, that's fine with me. As far as the exact placement, Charlie and I are suggesting this in response to some constructive feedback we've received in the past. So we don't particularly care as long as it's a 7 o'clock period. We just didn't want to hold up the, Kevin Cruzes of the world unnecessarily.
Well, since we've only had one occasion in 8 months where somebody actually asked to speak, I don't think, by putting that up front in the meeting's probably going to hold anybody up if we're all open to, doing that at 7 o'clock, having that comment period first, and then proceeding with our regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I guess 6:30 seems fine for me. I mean, you're not holding anybody up if you have 30 minutes and you have unfeathered access to the council. We've had a majority the entire time since we've started it. It's not recorded, but I can't speak for everybody else up here, but you could hit record. We don't have anything to, So I just think that the way it is, you have 30 minutes, and if one person comes up and wants to talk for 30 minutes, I'll sit here and listen. I don't know about the rest of you, but I think that's transparent. I don't really see a reason to change it, but I guess I really don't care either. I just think that right now, like the school board, and I'm not 100% sure, I should have checked on this before, but I think you have to speak on what's on the agenda if you do the public comment period, and I could be wrong, so I apologize if I am, but we don't have those rules. You can come talk about whatever you want to talk about for 30 minutes. And if the concern is about transparency, turn the YouTube recording on.
I'm frankly good with all that too, Daryl. Thing is, I think it's just simpler at 7. It's really what it comes down to.
I just like the 6:30. I mean, I don't like coming in any earlier than I have to because it cuts my dinner short, but I don't really care. I think it keeps the business portion of the meeting, and then people like you guys mentioned, the Kevin Cruzes or the Barb Cranes that have city business don't have to wait 3, 6, 9, 15 minutes to get through all the public comment period. They can just show up at 7, get to their business, and we can move on. That's
exactly why we suggested putting it after the Barb Crane.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they come before, then nobody's held up.
I agree.
I mean, I guess I don't care.
So
either way.
what was the reasoning to have it at 6:30?
We expect, Mr. Mayor, we expected a more robust attendance back 10, 11 months ago, and we felt that, again, it was right and proper to offer, an extended period of time, 30 minutes in case for multiple citizens to speak. It's turned out to be not quite the case, but
Well, there's several ways that you could go about it. I've had people tell me that you could have them request to be on the agenda. I think the only way that would need to be done is if they had a specific topic, such as the sidewalk in front of their house is torn up and needs to be fixed, because then we would want to have the correct people here to address that. I think that's a cause for them to be on the agenda. Much like if you want to have a car show or you want to have a street closure, those are the type of things that as far as a public speaking, as far as somebody wanting to just come up and voice their opinion on any given subject, I agree they can just come and sign up right before the meeting and say, I wish to have that time, and that's fine. It really doesn't matter if it's at 6:30 or if it's at 7 o'clock. What does the charter say on that, James? Is the council meeting supposed to start at 7 o'clock?
I don't think it's got a time.
Or does it say?
I don't think it's got a time. It says the meetings are supposed to be held in City Hall unless City Hall is determined to be untenable. So that, to my knowledge, that's the only thing that the charter's got as far as the meeting starting, blah, blah, blah. I think Councilman Phillips probably accurately pointed out that when they started doing it at 6:30, the thought was it would allow people to get it done and not hold people up.
Sure.
But I don't believe it. I think you guys can do whatever you want to under the charter.
Right.
I think the concern that I would have is that as long as someone comes with a topic, that it's given enough that we can have, like you said, the right people there,
Right.
or have the right information in front of us to answer them, or to have a comeback. So the previous rules, they have to be there by 6:20, to speak at that time. So I would assume the same rules would apply, although that time would be adjusted.
To 6:50.
So is that enough time?
Before.
Well, if I might chime in, Charlie and I did a little bit of research on this, and to backtrack to you a little bit too. I can't speak to why the 6:30. I actually voted against that one. But James is chuckling. As far as having the right people in place, sometimes it's just not going to happen. And in other cities, the way that they do it, if there's a question that cannot be answered, simply the appropriate staff member puts it on the next agenda, gives a brief answer to the question, and we move on.
I think the business of the city should be the business of the city. And
So you think from 7 o'clock on, it's business of the city?
business of the city, it should come first on the agenda.
Well,
I mean, I understand what you're saying, business of the city, but technically, anybody that wants to speak is business of the city. And that's why we're here.
That's what I was saying.
Yep. And I think that's something we have to remember is, we're here to serve the community. And if somebody has something they want to say, if somebody has a street closure request, whatever, we need to make sure that we're honoring that. And everybody that wants to have a chance to talk, we need to make sure and honor that. So I guess what we need is, if we want to keep it at 6:30, we really don't need, well, we would probably need a motion to leave it at that, or if we want to move it to 7 o'clock.
You won't need a motion to leave it.
6:30.
You would need a motion to change it because I think Councilman Phillips has done a presentation. He could. So you he could make the motion, but he's going to need a second, and then you guys could vote on it.
I'll make a motion to move the public comment period from 6:30 into the proper 7 o'clock portion of the meeting after other folks come to speak about street closure, et cetera, and to edit the speaking time from 5 to 3 minutes with an option for an additional 3 minutes in accordance with the current rules.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
I just want to ask, so is your motion to have it at the first of the meeting?
Right here, or I guess technically, yeah, right there.
So after other business is conducted?
After the Kevin Cruz's, Katie Welch's street closure. If I have to edit that to get your vote, I'm more than happy to edit it. Seriously, I mean,
I just assume have it up front, but
I will amend my motion to move it from after. I'll amend my motion to put it at the front of the meeting immediately after roll call, prayer, pledge of allegiance, etc.
And second.
Anybody else have any comments?
Yep, just me. I think it's great that we're doing it regardless of what time we do it from, so I appreciate those guys bringing that up. We can try it, just like we tried 6:30. If it doesn't work or it causes a bunch of problems, we can talk about it again.
It's that simple.
So,
All right, anybody else have anything? All those in favor?
I
All opposed?
Thanks, guys.
James Lemon, City Attorney, Hannibal Business and Technology Park, Resolution 2489 to follow.
Yes, Mayor. So we've got the Business and Technology Park that's actually not been platted as such, but that we would like to develop for that. We've had some interest in some of the areas of it. We think that before we start selling stuff off, if we're going to develop it piecemeal, that we ought to have some type of covenants and restrictions. What I based this on was actually what Palmyra does in their business park. I changed a few things that I thought were just a little more appropriate for the way Hannibal does things, and that's what's before you tonight. And I don't know, Melissa, did we get the corrected version with the legal description? Okay. I didn't have the legal description when I gave it to Melissa because I was running out of time to get it on the agenda.
Got it to me and I got it in the agenda.
Okay.
So we should work it.
All right. Andy Dorian, Director, Central Services.
real quick, sorry, Mr. Mayor. The agenda just has one typo in it. The resolution to follow shows 2498-23, but the resolution listed is 2489. So just wanted to make note of that.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Got 2 items tonight. One kind of exciting one. We recently applied for a Transportation Alternative Program grant, TAP grant, to build a new sidewalk from Grand to Arch from St. John's Lutheran School and Eugene Field School. So this will build an all-new sidewalk. We were just notified by MoDOT that we were awarded that grant. So the first step of that is to do an ordinance and an agreement with MoDOT so that we can kind of start all the fund process that's involved with that. So it would be a $292,165.60 grant, which is 80% of the proposed $365,207. So that is here tonight. That would be an ordinance to follow.
Bill number 23-035 to follow for the first reading. Okay, second.
Andy, one question on that. Had you had plans to also do curbing and streets along with that?
Yeah, so what the plan would be, that would be curb and sidewalk. That will be part of the grant portion of it. And then the street department will do that section of Market, basically all the way through past the gas station. So mill and overlay on that.
Okay, I thought we talked about that, but just wanted to.
Basically what would happen is sidewalk, curb would go in first, and then we come back on the back end and repave.
Okay, so terrific. Thank you.
Andy, I just want to say thank you. I mean,
You're welcome.
New sidewalks, especially in and adjacent to my ward, and especially in front of a school, are always a really good thing. And your hard work deserves to be recognized, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Next up, sale of property at 1512 Guernsey. We recently tore the structure down, and River Peak Properties LLC would like to buy the property for $575.
Resolution 2487-23 to follow.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Andy.
Jacob Nocky, Police Chief, Hannibal Police Department. Engineering Service, Nico Engineering.
Good evening. Actually, I have three things on the agenda tonight. Start with the roof project. As I've mentioned before, I believe, to the council, we had an issue with our roof. It has leaked. And then they came recently, we've had some core samples taken, and of course, there's moisture in the roof. In lieu of having just some roofer come and redo the roof, we opted to go with an engineering firm to have them actually scope out the problem and then conduct design services, and then gives us a little more assurances on the back end so that we are sure that our building that's been here since 1977 continues to be in operation for years to come. So,
Total on that's $37,400.
yes.
Resolution 2488-23 to follow. Do you have any questions on that?
Okay, the next is the Law Enforcement Terrorism Prevention Activities Grant Award. Something that we have talked about several times about increasing our ability to put out mobile video where we can actually view video in locations live and relay that on to first responders like the fire department, ambulance, 911, and so forth. We tried under a previous grant, however, funding kind of ran out for that project. So we applied under a different grant, which was able because I was denied on the first one. They awarded us the full amount, so it's a 100% grant at $43,900. Just to have a sub-award that needs approval from the council for the mayor to execute that sub-award agreement.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve the mayor to execute necessary documents. Do I have a second?
One of us.
One of us.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
And just on that, hopefully, there's a workshop I have to go to in December for it. But the hope would be that we'd be able to go out for bid on that in mid-December. And hopefully by this time next summer, we'll have that operation be deployable within the city and region. The last thing is the Emergency Performance Grant. This is a grant that the State Emergency Management Agency posts every year. It enables us to recoup some costs for emergency management operations. This year, they basically limited it down to personnel, so they would cover half the payroll of one person that's assigned to emergency management. We had applied for it, and we were awarded $2,750 for that, and it's just another sub-award that we need approval for the mayor to execute the agreement.
I need a motion to approve the mayor to execute necessary documents.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Every penny counts.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Chief.
Mike McCarr, Building Inspector, request to set public hearing, code amendment revising chapter 29 and 32.
I have a request from Planning and Zoning, brought by Planning and Zoning, two ordinance changes. The first is an ordinance designed to have the public water service providers to meet the code at the time of construction to meet the fire department's needs, and an annual flow test for each hydrant provided to the fire department. That's the first. Second is a part of the zoning called PDR, Planned Density Residential. It had some confusing things in it about basically about setbacks, and this just clears it up. Basically, the biggest one's a 25-foot setback to the so it's just cleaning up that was taught by me.
Do you have any questions on that?
When will the public hearings be?
I'm sorry. They are set for November 17th at 6:15.
December?
19th. What is it?
December.
December?
Yeah.
December?
Second, I'm sorry. Second meeting in December is, yes, 19th. set for December 19, 6:15.
Melissa, maybe now that we've changed the public speaking rules, we can change the time in which we set those public hearings?
Okay.
We can move it to 6:30
You can,
or 6:45.
you can, yeah,
6:45.
you can change. Want to set for 6:45?
If everybody's amenable.
So November 17th, 6:45?
December.
December 19th.
It's the 19th. 19th at 6:45. Need a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Darren, we're going to let Daryl speak for just a second for his park board thing.
Oh, yep, thank you. I'll be super brief. I apologize to the council and everybody else about not having the opportunity to get this actually put on the agenda. I was running behind. I'll take the responsibility for it. I had a few citizens reach out to me a while back about renaming the Aquatic Center in honor of Mr. Farrell. I knew Mr. Farrell for a long time. Actually, my aunt knew him very well years back. That's a whole nother story. I'd sent a letter of support in renaming to Andy Dorian, and also was unable to attend the meeting last week due to some commitments for the high school musical that I had to fulfill, or my teenage daughter would not be happy. I fully support this effort, and I really wish we could have got it on the agenda tonight prior to this, but it's Thanksgiving week. I can't think of a better opportunity to give thanks for a gentleman like Mr. Farrell that provided the services he did. Everybody in this room probably at some point in time was touched by his actions or his commitment to the city and dedication to the Aquatic Center and the pool and continuing to make it the way that it is. So unless anybody wants to wait, I would like to make a motion to officially rename the Hannibal Aquatic Center to the Ronnie Farrell Hannibal Aquatic Center.
Second.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Any comments?
Aye.
All opposed? There you go.
Thank you.
Very fitting.
Now, Darren. And Larry.
Who's that masked man?
Ganging up.
He's going to talk for me.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Mayor Louderman, members of the council, Darren wants to apologize. He's got laryngitis, so he's asked me to read his comments regarding the stormwater memo that was included in your board packet. In that memo, you'll find that accompanies it will be a resolution we ask you to pass. The resolution creating a ballot measure that would create a tax for the Hannibal Board of Public Works stormwater utility. That memo talks a little about the history of this effort. It also covers some of the high-level details of the past year. The HBPW and 15 members of the community took on this monumentous task of creating a funding source for the Hannibal stormwater utility. Here are some of the significant points. The 15 members of the committee, many of who are here tonight, were selected to provide a representation of the Hannibal citizenry. We invited representatives of the industrial, commercial, and residential parcel owners of the community. We sought to get at a cross-section that represented economic diversity. We had developers and those who do not even use HBPW utilities come and serve on the Stormwater Action Committee or SWAC. We earnestly strive to have low-income, fixed-income households represented as well. Need. The first question asked by the SWAC was, why do we need so much money? The HBPW had a third-party engineer, Black & Veatch, who we'd worked with to develop a 10-year financial plan. That estimated need was $4 million per year. Committee expressed immense and pointed skepticism about that need. While it was proved out, the impact to all citizens was too immense. Committee went back to the HBPW board, and a compromise target of $3.5 million was agreed upon. This was mainly out of concern for the economically disadvantaged. This was a 12.5% reduction in the ultimate rates across the board. Methodology. Several methodologies were considered. Impervious surface, gross acreage with a cap, flat fee based on county parcel classification, flat fee based upon electric meter, and impervious area with caps. All were weighed against each other. Ultimately, a flat fee guided by the electric meter size and usage was selected by the SWAC. Other criteria that was reviewed. Fairness. We must recognize that the ultimate purpose of the stormwater utility is to provide safety. Our stormwater system is designed to move stormwater from above ground, off our roadways, to below ground, and then ultimately to the river. If we could count every raindrop that falls on a rooftop, sidewalk, or other impervious surface, and measure how much of that rain leaves a certain property and then travels to another property, an absolutely fair tax could be designed. State laws are already established that a fee cannot be based upon such assumption, but a tax can. We have already tried to pass an impervious surface tax, but it failed. The impervious surface methodology was seriously considered by the SWAC, but ultimately not chosen at the end. The fixed cost base on the parcel's electric meter classification and usage was chosen. The thinking was to protect the economically disadvantaged. It was also to put a cap on the tax to protect the largest parcel owners. How does it protect economically disadvantaged? Equating small, medium, and large to residential, commercial, and industrial. The committee worked to break out the residential classes into even more granularity. Inside of the small users, residential, the entire residential customer base was divided again into three smaller groups, small, medium, and large users. In the commercial meters, the committee recognized the need to separate the small mom and pops from the larger commercial operations. Industrial was also separated from large to small. The need to be fair to the large parcels is to protect and keep our existing industries and jobs and not dissuade future economic development. And also in an effort to make sure that everyone was aware of these new taxes going into place, the committee made the recommendation not to begin recording electric usage should this pass until July of 24. Taxing wouldn't begin until the calendar year 25, with ultimately the first payment being due in January of 2026. Implementation. While there is not much sympathy for the BPW having to monitor and count several thousand different parcels, that is what we do every day with our electrical and water meters, there is an additional cost for complexity. While none of the methodologies were simple, the impervious area was definitely the most complex and would be the most expensive to track. The flat fee based on electric meter was one of the less complicated. Understandable. The flat fee based on electric meter and usage can be explained in fairly short order. There is also an ability of any concerned citizen to be more conservative in their electrical consumption, thus potentially getting into a lower tax bracket. Legally defensible. All the options were passed by attorneys. The fact that we're asking for a tax approved by a vote of the people will make this funding method legal once it is passed. We do ask that the mayor and city council amend the current document, removing sections 5, 6, and 7. This is per Ethan Matchett, our legal counsel, which was also approved at our board meeting last evening. Non-for-profits. Non-for-profits will not be included, so this eliminates charges to churches, schools, or other non-for-profit entities. We understand that this is not perfect. The committee turned over every stone. They are committed to educate, advocate for this method through the April 2024 election. Again, this is a matter of community safety. We do have some pictures over here that show some of the failures we've had. These are all existing ones. The smaller, or this large one here, you can't see it back there, but it is the one that occurred in the police department parking lot. The other one that is on the backside there facing Darren is one that is in the Mark Twain Avenue storm sewer that is currently there. And then the smaller poster board has one that is down by the street department there on 7th Street. One that is on the storm sewer that drains the Virginia Avenue area, and the other one is one on Mark Twain Avenue that was previously fixed. So we're just here to ask for your support and make sure that this resolution gets passed, which is to follow. Do you have any questions?
James,
Yes.
Mayor,
what is your opinion? It comes down to the fact that it has to be defensible.
it's defensible. Ethan and I, Ethan is the board's attorney, but I, on behalf of the city, because you all were going to be asked to approve this, also did some research. The one real concern I have is, while I believe this is defensible, and while I found nothing that would specifically prohibit this methodology, I will say that there's some case law out there that does give me concern. And the case law is specifically that in the categorizing of the different classes under the due process clause, there needs to be some specific reasonableness, and there needs to be a reason why different types of taxpayers are being treated differently. I do have some concerns about the methodology here in that it's related to zoning areas rather than as to the categorizing of the types of taxpayer. I think this is potentially subject to a challenge under the due process clause. However, I'm not saying it's invalid. What I'm saying is it's subject to challenge, but I don't have a better solution either. I can't sit here and say, well, I think what they ought to do is blah, 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 blah. This was taken to a citizens committee that came up with this, and that's a good step in the right direction. But if you put me on, lawyers never give you a straight answer. But I do have an actual concern that it's going to be, if this is challenged, a taxpayer could bring a challenge suit. What the court is going to take a look at is the reasonableness of the way different people are treated. And I don't have a hard feeling on it. It is challengeable, but probably lawyers smarter than me have looked at it also.
So you want this on the April ballot?
That is correct.
What is the time limit that we're under? Get it on the April ballot. I have a reason to ask.
End of January.
We would have to have it approved by the end of January to have it on the April ballot.
That's not correct. Been told by the city clerk, anything that goes on the April 2nd ballot must be finalized by December.
No, that's when the closing for the council members closes. That's not when our councilmen can sign up between the 5th and the 26th, and then I have an additional few weeks to get the paperwork to the county. So it is, you would want it approved by the first meeting in January, so
Right.
before the second meeting.
So we would have to have a first reading in the last meeting in December and a second reading in the first meeting in January.
You would want your second reading
In the first meeting in January.
before the second.
I honestly have not had a chance to look at any of this throughout the whole campaign. And I know it was a topic that was never brought up, so I haven't had a chance to look at all of the particulars that you're talking about. And honestly, I would like that chance. And believe me, I've been a harbinger of stormwater forever. From when I sat on the city council and we tried to get this passed, get a stormwater tax passed to take care of this problem then. But if you would indulge me to the next meeting to look at this, to bring this back, I would like to table this tonight and bring it back next meeting and have it, if that would work for you.
That is absolutely, that'd be great, as long as I move forward. I'm going to let him speak in a minute, but would the rest of the Stormwater Action Committee please stand up?
I tell you, I can't thank you guys enough for putting yourselves out to do this. This is what makes a city work.
Ditto. Thank
Is
you.
when people get together to solve a problem. So, and then don't take it anything. I want a chance to look at everything that's going on so that I can make that decision. So, Larry.
And that's totally understandable, Mr. Mayor,
Thank you, guys.
to have the opportunity to look it over. But we do hope that with the time that's been spent since February by the 15 volunteers that met about 10 times, massaging all the different combinations, and Councilman Welch attended some of those meetings, and also Councilman Dobson and Frankie were in the audience, and we feel like it is something that the city of Hannibal has neglected.
Been kicked down the road for a long time.
Well, the stormwater system is well over 100 years old. And the city, I don't know, I wasn't here back then, so to know how they maintained it. But recently, within the last 20 years or so, there's been state legislation passed where the Board of Public Works cannot use electric funds, water funds, or sewer funds to fix stormwater. Stormwater has to have its own funding source. Currently, the city of Hannibal has no funding source to maintain, repair, or even add to the stormwater system. So the group that is on the committee, the initial committee, felt like it's time we did something in the city of Hannibal. We've had collapses, failures. There was a failure, I don't know if the picture's here, but over on the south side by Stowe School, there was a sidewalk and a couple of kids fell in when it collapsed, and that was 3 years ago. But it took darn near those 3 years to get funds to fix it. So our hope is that we can come up with a funding source. And what we're proposing is what we feel is the fairest to the majority of the citizens of Hannibal. There are some citizens in Hannibal who are even serving on our committee who are not connected in any way, shape, or form to the stormwater system. Their water runs off into a creek and then moves on down, or some other, or a collection basin. But they feel that it is a necessary function. So I guess I'm here asking you to take the time that you need, but we would like to get this on the April ballot and have the opportunity to educate the public, the voting public, on this issue. We have properly formed a campaign committee through the Secretary of State and through the Missouri Ethics Commission. We have pooled a little funds from the committee enough to form a checking account so that when we know we've got it on the ballot, we can start asking citizens to donate to the cause for yard signs, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll have the responsibility of educating the voting public. But we need your approval of this resolution to get it on the April ballot. Enough time has gone by in the past. I'm not trying to put any pressure on you, but we would respectfully request your thoughtful consideration and support of this resolution to get it on the April 2nd ballot.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Larry, real quick. You've been an advocate for the community for a really long time, and that's noticed and appreciated. And, as you hinted, me and Mr. Dobson here we're at a lot of your meetings, and I know I'm very grateful for all the effort you guys have put in, and I have a feeling we all are.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Well, we have, out of the original 15, we have 12 of them that are still part of the campaign committee. So we have, maybe we're not all here, but we're here to show our support for this effort, and we just need your approvals to keep moving on. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Andy?
Mayor Louderman, you need to make that motion. It has a bill to follow.
I do, I would like to make a motion to table this until the December 5th meeting.
Second.
Just need a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, I just wanted to add something. I too want to thank everyone, and I want to say, probably the number one complaints Matt Munslinger and I get on a weekly basis is stormwater. But I do want to add something that's very confusing. It was very confusing last time. It's very confusing this time. This is only for underground stormwater. This does not cover above ground stormwater, which is still the city's responsibility, and the city still doesn't have a designated money for that as well. So I just want you guys to know that, because I do know the last time this went out, the public didn't realize that. So I just want
In the language it needs to be.
I just wanted to state that this will not cover anything above ground. This is only below ground. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andy.
I would point out it is very clearly stated in the resolution, it is underground stormwater services.
All right, thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can we get the language that was presented to us tonight either added to the city website or to the board's website over the next couple weeks? I don't own a business in town. There's obviously quite a bit of disparages in the pricing structure. I think it's fair, not unreasonable, to be transparent and let the public see that. So if constituents of mine that own businesses or are affected by that have an opportunity to look at that and call me and say, hey, no way, or what about this? It just gives us that opportunity to share that information with everybody before we come back here on the 5th.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
All right, now we go to resolution. Resolution number 2487-23. Resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a special warranty deed to the River Peak Properties LLC for the sale of city-owned property located at 1512 Guernsey in the amount of $575. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2487-23, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a special warranty deed to River Peak Properties LLC for the sale of the city-owned property located at 1512 Guernsey in the amount of $575. Councilman Welch?
Yes.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilman Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Lauderman?
Yes.
And Councilman Phillips.
Yes.
I declare Resolution 2487-23 duly approved and adopted on this day. Resolution number 2488-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $37,400 engineering service agreement between the City of Hannibal and Miko Engineering for the design and replacement of the roof at the Hannibal Police Department. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution number 2488-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $37,400 engineering service agreement between the City of Hannibal and Miko Engineering for the design and replacement of the roof at the Hannibal Police Department. Councilman Welch?
Yes.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilman Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Lauderman?
Yes.
And Councilman Phillips.
Yes.
I declare resolution number 2488-23 duly approved and adopted on this day. We have resolution 2489-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign covenants and restrictions in regard to the Hannibal Business and Technology Park. I need a motion to have the clerk read the resolution and call the roll for adoption.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2489-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign covenants and restrictions in regard to the Hannibal Business and Technology Park. Councilman Welch?
Yes.
Councilman Munger.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilman Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Lauderman.
Yes.
And Councilman Phillips.
Yes.
I declare resolution number 2489-23 duly approved and adopted on this day. This is the bill for the stormwater that we tabled, so we don't need to read it. First reading. We don't need to read that. Bill number 23-035, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Transportation Alternative Program grant relative to construction of new sidewalks and ADA improvements on Market Street from South Arch to Grand. First reading. I need a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill number 23-035, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a program agreement with the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission for the Transportation Alternative Program, TAP, grant relative to construction on new sidewalks and ADA improvements on Market Street from South Arch to Grand. First reading.
I need a motion to go into closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-021, 1 and 2. I need a motion to go into closed session. Admitting myself, council members, city manager Lisa Peck, city attorney James Lemon, city clerk Melissa Cogdell, director of central services Andy Dorian, general manager Board of Public Works Darren Gordon, and director of operations Hannibal Board of Public Works Matt Munson.
So moved.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do you want candy in there too? Do you want candy in the closed session?
Oh,
there
yeah,
too?
we can have candy in here too, I guess.
Just to be all official.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
Councilman Welch.
Yes.
Councilman Munger.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilman Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Lauderman.
Yes.
And Councilman Phillips.
Yes.